Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass and it's another Conquest Battle Report! And today I am playing Nords into Spires. Hope everyone's really excited for that one. I'm playing a new Nords List. Well, new to you, new to the channel, new to everything, because mostly I've been playing like 4 Golder, because I paid for Golder, and I'm going to play 4 Golder. Don't worry, there's still Golder in this list. So, yeah. How you doing? What else can I tell you? Oh, yeah. I am still recording in Jeff's basement. I have moved from the basement living room into Jeff's boardroom, where he has boards. It's very strange in here. Please help me. And I guess I should talk a little bit about the Spires list. It's the first time I'm playing into a... What is this thing called? Hold on. I'm going to script the name because I'm not really good at this. The Terraform Surveyor. Hey, that's me. So... let's get into the list. Let's get into the fun. Here we are. All right, so my list is called We Have a King 2. If you're wondering what happened to We Have a King 1, mostly this is a Carl list, and he played We Have a King 1, and then made some changes based upon that, and I was chatting with him, and then he was like, this is the updated version. I'm like, cool, I'm going to play that. He's like, all right, cool. And here it is. So, in our first warband, we have the Conqueror. No upgrades. He's 7 attacks, Clash 4, still really good. Resolve 4 base is also really nice because Steel Chosen are Resolve 3 and he'll be sitting in a unit of Steel Chosen. He's running 2 Steel Chosen. I wanted to play Steel Chosen simply because they had changed a lot. They had dropped by 20 points and their combat output's pretty good, especially in the current, I want to say meta of the game of just volume of attacks and hits, specifically volume of hits. So they have Clash 3 base, 6 attacks and Flurry. So when they inspire, they're going up to 4s with Flurry is really good. They got 2 impacts each on the 3, what's fine, and then Line Breaker, what's also really good. In this, I want to say like majority of the time under the Conqueror's like tribal tactics, you're gonna pick, I believe it's Draw Them In. Yeah, Draw Them In for Opportunists. Not for the Steel Chosen, but mostly for the Bow Chosen, because you can get Opportunists on range attacks, and also it'll give the Conqueror Opportunist if you get into the flank with his Steel Chosen unit. What does come up in having 4s, rerolling 5s and 6s is really nice. He also has 3 impacts and Terrifying 1, so like he's a really good addition to a Steel Chosen unit to get that extra bit of damage to kill stuff. War Brethren just gives the tribal tactics from the Conqueror to them, so the entire warband will get Opportunists. Steel Chosen baseline because of Flurry won't matter, but Bow Chosen, the second unit, loves Opportunists, really likes it. Getting Bow Chosen shots in the flank is terrible. Like, because they're base volley 3, you're allowed to just move and shoot at them. Yeah, they have a lower range at 14, but that's kind of fine because a lot of ranged threats have been being reduced recently. Barrage 5, volley 3, range 14 is fine. You're getting 16 shots out of an MSU. It's tons of hits. If you somehow get yourself an effective, you can go up to 19 shots, what's crazy. Yeah, because 15 leader to 16 plus 3. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And if you're especially in the flank opportunities, you get to reroll all your fails. You'll end up getting a lot more 1s because you have precision shot, which gives you smites on 1s. Lots of things in the game currently do have evasion, so it's not like as good, but when you need it, it's super great. And also like some things are defense 4, evasion 2, so dropping that defense down to 2s is also really nice. They also got pretty decent defenses at D2, E2, Resolve 3 and 5 wounds, so they're a little more tanky than your average shooting unit. Steel Chosen, don't want to really talk about them more. Their stat line's kind of fine. Evasion 1, not the greatest. D2, not the greatest, especially on this like melee killer. Resolve 3 is fine. Conqueror will get them up to Resolve 4, but then Sizing will get them to Resolve 5 for that one. 5 wounds is a nice part. Big thing about Steel Chosen is you really want to set them up as like a follow-up, like they're your second wave, so after your opponent hits your first wave, your first wave hits them, you have the Steel Chosen following up to fill in that gap when it's created, and they do a fantastic job with their just combat output. Also, like the entire armor being March 6 is really nice, and they have a banner, so they're doing great. Alright, next warband. Blooded. Blooded has the figurehead of Naglfar, I think that's how you say it. Someone can correct me in the comments, or drop into Discord, the BonkTable Discord, and leave a little audio thing and tell me what it actually says. I think it's Naglfar. Anyway, you get Tenacious 3 against Volley. Blood is going to sit in a unit of Trolls. Trolls, I think I've kind of talked about them enough, but I'll just go over like a quick overview of Trolls. It's mostly the 6 wounds, resolve 3, D2, and regen 6. We're going to talk about the evasion in this list because like I haven't revealed yet, but the Vulva is the Warlord. So basically everyone's E2. So we can talk about E2, I guess, a little bit. E2 is much better than D2. There's a lot of, like, it'll ignore a lot of, like, the cleave 1s. It's good against smites. It's good against a lot of stuff. Like, there's very little that ignores evasion in the game. And evasion 2 is just 1 out of 3 attacks will pass. And just having that evasion means you won't be, like, dropping down super low. It's super nice. On top of being Dread Trolls, very good. Oblivious Dread Trolls, also very good. You're going to take half on the resolve. I actually think I forgot about Oblivious this game, to be honest, but I might have taken most of my damage from shooting, so Oblivious didn't matter. It's okay, stuff happens. They're really good. Regen's really nice. The nice combo with the Blooded and the Trolls, if they're in the same unit, is that you activate the Blooded, rally the Trolls, entourage into the Trolls, regen hopefully a stand back or top off your wounds, inspire Clash because you're rallied, and then hopefully you're sitting on a zone, because we'll talk about the Vulva when we get down to her, but she's the Warlord. She can cast spells on people that are in zones, and she can heal them with some more, so it just gets them really annoying to kill. A lot of recursion in the list as well with Trolls and Vulva healing. There are Nords lists that have more recursion. I know in the Indiana GT episode that I did with Carl, Andrew, and Peter, Werewolves have a ton of recursion, Vulva healing, a ton of recursion, and Trolls have a ton of recursion, so you can do a lot of Nords regen healing lists, which are kind of fine and fun. Also, so that makes, like, you know, Steel Chosen with Vulva Warlord E2. Keeps them alive a little longer. Bow Chosen, you're not getting anything. You're already good enough. Everyone loves you. Yeah. So Trolls then having the Figurehead and Ogfar, getting Tenacious 3 against shooting just allows them to survive longer. It's good. With all the healing coming from them, and their E2 against any, like, especially against, like, Tenacious and the Deadly Shot, you get to pick the dice. So if you roll any 6s, you can just be like, I choose the 6, and they're like, oh, no more 2 wounds for you. Fender Beastpack. I like Fender Beastpack. Fender Beastpack is a tech piece in Nords. Like, I don't want to say weirdly enough, but once you understand what it's actually trying to do, you kind of see that as a tech piece. Fender Beastpack being March 7 with Vanguard 4 means you're getting 18 inches up the table. They have flanks, they're automatically coming on turn 2, and they have fluid formation, so you can, like, rotate them and get them around. They're not pushing your reinforcement line due to your regulars, but they do have opportunists, and with their speed and opportunists, you can easily get your 6 attacks at Clash 2 in the flank, so you're going to be 3s rerolling. That's perfect for getting into the flank, doing a ton of damage on 3s, like inspiring 3s rerolling. You don't care about hindering terrain due to the Nord's army rule of ignoring the inspire for the hindering terrain, so you're basically always going to be on, like, 3s on flurry unless you're in the water, but then again, you want people to fight in the water against you, not you in it. Yeah, so how are they a tech piece? So they're a tech piece because they're very mobile. They can easily occupy zones. They're kind of annoying to deal with at times because they have loose formation, so shooting them to death is kind of a pain in the ass. They're E2 base on R2, so not that super great defensively, but the loose formation, just having all the range attacks into them, just makes the range attacks into them really ineffective, and you can kind of put them on a flank or beside something to counter hit. You'll see in the game how I kind of set up to have my Fender Beastpack trying to counter hit some stuff and be available, so they're doing great in that aspect. Last we have the Golder Beastpack. You've seen me use these guys a bunch. They are a March Charge unit. They do a ton of damage on their Clash 3, 5 attacks, Trample 2, Impact 4, Brutal 1, Linebreaker. Linebreaker really good. Also Linebreaker on Steel Chosen. That also really good. But Linebreaker and Golder Beastpack. Golder Beastpack are a fantastic unit for as a hammer. They do a fantastic job. They have a ton of damage. Even, like, and that's why, like, March Charges them work so well, because you're on Impact 4s. You're gonna get a bunch of damage from that way. Then you're gonna do Resolve. Then you're gonna do Tramples, and then you're probably gonna, like, your goal is to neuter something enough that it can't effectively do damage back to you in an efficient manner, so that you can kill them on the Clash next turn. Then maybe they charge something right behind them. The loss of Flurry, I feel it in my heart, but I also respect that it had to go, and I do believe it had to go. It was too ridiculous. Golden Beast back, even though, are still fantastic. The 5 wounds there is really good. And with the Volvo Warlord going to E2, like the entire army being E2 is super nice. Like the only things that are even remotely D3 are the Golden Beast pack and the Huskarls. So that gets us into our last warband. Volvo Warlord, no upgrades. We'll talk about her supremacy, divine protection. All friendly ravens add evasion 1 to their maximum characteristic. Talking to those wonderful competitive players who are like, I'm super great at this game. They're like, yeah, like having E2 is really good in Nords. I agree. I think it's really well, like, it adds more survivability to the Nords units. There's enough like cleave 1 around, and a lot of the faction is D2, that having E2 negating a lot of the cleave 1 and always being able to get around a lot of other weird stuff at E2 just kind of keeps your stuff around a lot longer. What is super nice. Then her second ability and her supremacy is you may target a friendly character. You may be the target of a friendly character stand spellcasting action. Okay, so basically, yeah, whenever a character casts spells, regardless of spell's range or the caster's line of sight, spells within range itself are effective if you are, first part, friendly registers within the range of an objective zone. So you want to be fighting on the objectives as always. So this is just really nice of you're fighting on an objective, you're touching it. She can now cast her spells, so she can cast heal, so that heals 1 plus every success on 2 and 3. Pretty good. Max of this you can get is 7. That's really nice. Guess what? That's bringing back a troll stand. Warbringer's Light. Get blessed. Blessed is super nice. I threw this on trolls. Even if you're using it offensively, still good. Blessed is a fantastic rule, especially in 12 inches. It is scaling though, so watch out for that. Hela's Cuirass. This is an enemy, or this is her gun spell. 1 hit per success on 2 and 4 on range 12, super solid. A 2 and 4 at 6 dice is actually really good. It's like the was it Hoarfrost spell from the Shaman, but that has AP 1. She does not, but she has a lot of other utility spells running around. You might cast this at times. It's pretty good. Glory Valhalla. Get Indom 2. Probably not casting this one as much, but there are cases where you want Indom 2. I think less is a little better if you're kind of getting attacked. Indom 2 might be better if you're getting hit by magic or like a lot of magic. Indom 2 would probably be better. I feel like Bless would be the better thing though, but if you're getting hit by like range or cause morale, like some murderous volley, Thor of Valhalla. Lastly, of Aspect of the Fenner. 3 with scaling, target registering gains the unyielding rule, so enemy just cannot seize an object zone that stands in this regiment are in range of. So locking down zones is really nice. She's a unit of Huskarls, and so why are a unit of Huskarls? So I believe the change was that Huskarls went from 4 attacks to 5. They are D2 with a shield, and they have untouchable, so they're rerolling 6s when they're failed defense rolls. Characters do not get that benefit, so it does not affect them during duels. With their 2 impacts at Clash 3, did they also go up a Clash? No, I think they were always Clash 3. I think they were just 4 attacks. This is a little package, and especially being a medium for 150 points, kind of allows you to kind of keep the Vulva safe while she's on a zone, casting her spells, and it has a little bit of combat oomph with the Clash 3 at 5 attacks because they're going to 4s, and they'll do enough damage there, and they're they're D3 with reroll 6s, and even like E1 because she's going to give them E1. With reroll 6s is going to do something, hopefully keep them alive. What's her resolve? Her resolve is 3 as well. Okay, lastly, we have a unit of Raiders. Raiders are fantastic. They're 140 points. You get a captain, they can score. They're a light that comes on. I got really nothing bad to say about Raiders. They do exactly what you want them to do. Be a light scoring. They're kind of, like, they're easy to kill. But if you hit someone first, they're going to do some good damage. Nothing too bad. You'll not feel bad for them, especially if their point cost for the damage they're doing and what they are. So what is this list kind of doing? I kind of want to say it's playing Horns of the Bull. You got 3 lights, so you're probably going to get like at least like 9 times out of 10, I would say like 7 out of 10 times you're getting all 3 of them on turn 1. Maybe there'll be some times where you're getting like 2 of them on turn 1. That's fine. You want to prioritize, I guess, your bow chosen, and then your raiders, or 1 raider and 1 bow chosen. But anyway, you probably want to look at like the scenario and if light scoring is going to matter, like if turn 2 scoring is going to matter. If not, bow chosen. If it is, and it's going to be a factor in the game you think of, grabbing the Raiders would be a good call. The Raiders and the Volvo Warband, she can swap between, like, you know, put her in the Raiders, put her in the Huskarls, if she needs to be out early or not, depending on what you need to do. Having her in the Raiders early is kind of nice, just because you have 4 cards if you get all your other lights. That's really fine. So you play this Horns of the Bull, you know, Bochos in the middle. Then you have their Blooded and Trolls, who auto, because of, what is it, Forward Force, they'll auto come on. And you have the Fender V-Spec with flank, so they'll auto come on, so there's another 3 cards turn 2. Then you'll just pick your other Trolls, so there's 4 cards turn 2, then you'll roll for 1, 2, 3, 4 mediums turn 2. You're probably gonna get 2 of them. I'd probably grab the, what is it? I probably want like Conagear and Steel Chosen, but you for sure want to get like your Volva and Huskarls. So I think maybe you want to prioritize the Volva and Huskarls over the Trolls for your auto in. So Volva, Huskarls, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, and then roll, then get your Trolls, then get your Steel Chosen, lastly your Goater. And that's kind of like how you want to go each turn in your order. But yeah, Volva for sure needs to be on the table turn 2 if she's on, she's in the Huskarl unit. But you have enough cards coming on with flank and the auto in that you should be able to keep pace with your opponent on the amount of cards and not be out activated, so that you can still position your threats of the Bow Chosen to do board denial. And then you Horns of the Bull with like Trolls and Steel Chosen on the flank coming up, and Bow Chosen in the middle, shooting on the sides, hoping to get those opportunity shots because they're going to do a lot of damage. Golden Beast Pack as a hammer, and I guess the Huskarl sitting on his own, Raiders providing either scoring on a far zone or getting in the way and just being annoying. Fender Beast Pack being annoying, getting in the way and setting up to help. Yeah, that's kind of it. That's we have a King 2. Let's get into the Spires list. Okay, so we have Soul of Lyn. Skillen, why do you... I'm playing Skillen. most of my Spire games are against Skillen. Why are they against Skillen? Well, because Skillen plays Spires and he's on my locals, so I'm going to play him. I don't know what Soul of Lyn is supposed to be. I guess he's just shorthanding Sovereign Lineage. It's... whatever. Okay, have fun, Skillen. We're 50 points short. Why is that? It's because the army builder will now allow me to pick superior creations. I don't know if I'm just like... oh, there we go. Do it live. Okay, well, let me fix this really quick. And click 200. Okay, so Sovereign Lineage Warlord for the Sovereign Lineage allows you to pick superior creations. I believe that is +1 clash for 10 points. Their maximum cost. Maximum of 3. Sweet. She has the Legacy arc because she's the Warlord that allows her to have 3 mutations. She's going to be having Cascading Degeneration for Aura of Death +4. While the rating consists of 5 or more stands, including the character gains Aura of Death +3. Super great. She'll be sitting in this 5 block of Avatara, who got free banners. Good for her. She's also getting Command Pheromone. She's going to go +1 Resolve. She goes from 4 to 5. And then in the big block of Avatars that she's going to sit in, that's really just going to be like Tenacious, or not Tenacious, my apologies, Terrifying Immunity. But basically being Resolve 5 until broken, and then Resolve 4 is not a huge change. Well, it's rough. It's rough killing them. And then Ferromantic Overdrive, the character draw event that you can get a free March, Clash, Volley, do whatever you want. It's a threat extender. It's more damage depending on what's going on. It's very solid, and she's in that unit so she can draw her card, activate, then immediately entourage and go for it. So, Lineage Highborn in the big block of Avatara. They have the Flawless Technique, so when they're inspired, they get the Flawless Strike rule. Sweet. So, smites on 1s. Support 2 was fine. I believe they came down in points and got, what is it? Free banners. I think the entire army basically got free banners. They were, like, Avatar were always good, but you kind of took them in, like, MSUs. As you can see, you got 2 other MSUs here. Skillen and I have talked about it, where they are cockroaches because they have like a really good defensive stat line. Defense 4, Resolve 4, Evasion 2 is really solid defense. They are Wound 4, so if you roll poorly, chip damage will get 3 and you'll die, but you actually have a really solid defensive line. Being Clash 3 on 4 attacks at Cleave 1, they kind of want to get into a fight, be a bunch of cockroaches, and win that fight over a couple turns and push out. They're kind of annoying, and you kind of want to hit them with damage and stuff that you can wipe them out. Cleave and Smite is really effective into them because they'll be saving on 2s instead of 4s. These are still Resolve 4, get them in the flank, and so on. Last thing in this warband is an MSU of Centaur Avatara. Centaur Avatar, pretty solid. 190, that's actually a really good point cost for this. They are cost 3 base, so they don't need superior creations. They're movement 8, which is also pretty quick, especially on Shock Cav. They have 5 attacks, 5 wounds, resolve 4, D3, but they have a shield up to D4 and evasion 1. So they have a couple, they have 1 more wound than the Avatara. They have the same basically defense from the front. They have 1 less evasion, but they get flurry on their attacks. Their impact rate brutal 2. You don't really want to be charged by these guys. They're going to do a ton of damage and a ton of work. And MSU of Centaur Avatara I actually quite like, especially with the other Avatara being movement 7, being fast enough that they can, the Centaur Avatara can quickly catch up to them, and then also they can keep pace with the Centaur Avatar as it collapses the flank, like this little MSU. Next, we have the High Clone Executive Producer. He's got the Bionic Hive and the Marksman variant that just allows him to have gun and deadly blade or deadly shots, and basically he gets a bunch of range attacks. He gets Barrage 6 at 22 inches. Why is he Barrage 6 at 22 inches? Well, because that was the old range of the Marksman clones. They're now 20. Sorry, Marksman clones. But he has deadly shot. What else is he going on here? He's got additional Neuroreceptors, so he can buy another mutation. That's what's going on there. Then he has his tactics of double time and disperse. So loose formation on the Marksman clones, really nice. Why double time? So double time is effective if you are pushing your enemy back, and you will use double time to get into a zone and set yourself up into a better position. So you will like march, wheel, and so on to get yourself in a proper place that you can then keep pushing shots forward. It reduces your downtime of shots once you've kind of cleared stuff off, because they're 20-inch range now. Still very good, but you wanna be in a good spot. And also, like, Bastion 1 on them, go to defense 2. Not that huge. You don't want them to be attacked anyway, and you're just gonna heal them up anyway. Vanguard clones with superior creations, Clash 3, 6 attacks. They're super good. Having Vanguard, especially on their movement and the banner, so they're going to be 13 plus 4 is 17 inches up the table at D2 with shield to D3 evasion 2 resolve 3. Like, they're a really solid stat line, especially I think that they came down points at 150. This is actually a really good medium. It can engage a lot of things. It has enough attacks at attack 6 and Clash 3. It's going to do a ton of damage, and they can also get to places really quickly. I think at a 6-inch zone, at the 18-inch mark, you're 15 away, so they can get onto zones also really nicely on turn 2 or 3 or whenever they start coming on, and push that line of engagement, and also hopefully like either fill in holes, push stuff, come on from the side if the line has been pushed up really well. I like Vanguard Cones a lot. They're really good. Last warband, Biomancer, Adaptive Flesh. You ignore the first wound allocated in a duel. Why do you grab this? It's 5 points. That's it. It's a 5-point upgrade, and it comes up every once in a while when someone tries to duel at your Biomancer. You're welcome. Deso Drones. Deso Drones are really solid. Armor Piercing 1, Deadly Shot, Torrential Fire. If you're in half range, every successes, or effective range, every 2 successes, you get another hit. So they can like pile on damage at 7 inches. However, you probably are just going to fire them at 14 because you want the reprocessing agents, which gives your opponent -1 defense. This is fantastic. This will also combine into the Terraphon Surveyor, who gets a couple Biomancies. He gets... No. Is it Pharaoh Trails? Yeah. He gets Induced Lethargy. So you can also, with an 8 of him, reduce the defense characters by 1. So you can give 2 different things -1 or 1 thing -2. A lot of defense reduction in there. That's also really good with your big block of 4 Marksman clones and the High Clone Executor. Getting rid of 2 defense on, let's say, Ashen Dawn, and then getting shot by these guys is not going to be a good time. Especially if the Biomancer uses... I don't think it's an unstable enhancement. Yeah. Have their Clash and Volley characters become 3 until end of round, and then they'll take aim to 4. That's going to be really rough. They'll take Decay, but then the Biomancer is going to heal them. The Surveyor is just going to heal them. I like this thing. It's got a decent gen at range 10, or sorry, range 12, barrage 10, volley 3s, and it's movement 8. So it has fly, so it's flying around. It's shooting up some shots. It's basically fine. But like the big thing this thing is doing is actually like giving it these 3 Biomancies. Has access to these ones as blah blah. May perform one of them as a free additional action, so it can do myself defense. It can mend flesh to heal 2 wounds. That's a little top up. And then add +1 to either its march or resolve characters at the end of the round. These are all fantastic abilities. Also, Neuron Link, this is the big one. Friendly regiments with an 8 of him, roll 2d6 and pick the highest when determining a charge. This like solves a lot of Spires charge issues. Remember this rule, it's actually really good. Skillen forgot it. I didn't really know. I was just like, this first time I was playing into it, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. I was like, I'll eventually get to it and trying to kill it. Defensively, 15 wounds on Resolve 3, D3, E2 on a medium monster that flies around and has 10 attacks. Like, you want to engage this thing and try and kill it. However, it is a medium, so it can just back off and shoot you and then do a biomancy or whatever it wants to do. It has enough wounds, like if you just march charge it, to just take the damage from the withdrawal and then just shoot you and like try and get away 8 inches was fine. Eye in the Sky, this is the Vanguard thing. So I was talking to Skillen about this, and he's like, it's not that great because you have to activate the Surveyor. And then once you complete, you have to immediately draw your next command card, reveal it. If the command card belongs to regiments arriving for reinforcement, it immediately activates and gains Vanguard Force. So it's nice, like we were talking about it as like, well, what if you had the Surveyor go second last, draw, and then immediately go into your last guy who's going to go up the table an extra 4 inches. Like there's things there, but a lot of times when the Surveyor is on the table, or the Terraphon, I'll go back and forth. You kind of want in the middle of your deck, and then you don't want to also lose that card tempo by like getting Vanguard 4. There are times where it's going to be useful, but other times he's like, I'm not really seeing it. I'm like, okay. Like, it has a lot of other utility, and it's a good utility piece, especially for 170 points. Also, the thing looks cool. So yeah, that's what I'm playing into. Also, the Terraphon is the Siege Breaker. So if you see the Siege Breaker, it's a Terraphon. Let's, I guess, get into the game. Okay, here's the table we played on. We're playing melee. So the 2 3-inch zones, not 3-inch, my god, 3-point zones, they're 9 inches. And the 2 6-inch zones were worth 2 points. What else? I guess I'll go over the train, and then I'll go into like the general play of this thing. So we got, forest, 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 building, building. I guess this orange will be a hill. And then we got, we'll do purple, whatever, for like, it's the one you charge through and you roll a d6, you take a wound kind of thing, that kind of terrain. Overall, it is pretty decent. I'm just going to get rid of a lot of these so that it can free up. But the decent thing about I'll use black here is that you have this larger space on either side for each opponent. I don't know if I want to... Yeah, that looks good. So you got this larger space on each side and then a smaller space here. So it is symmetrical. You have, forest in each of the 3s. You have the forest is defensive towards the player with the larger side, as you can see, like right here. My larger side has that forest defensively on this side. My opponent has the same thing. He has an extra forest. That's fine. That's, a bit of roll off change. We both got these 2 hindering and then the line of sight blocking terrain in the middle. So there's like nice, decent, let's do it in like orange. There's like nice, decent line of sight blocking right through the middle of the table. To try and, keep shots off and look for angles of engagement and such. So I found the table like pretty decent. As for the play, usually on melee, I kind of went away from like doing like scenario guides because I made a whole scenario guide video. I don't know how to link videos when I mention stuff on YouTube. I don't know, maybe someone will tell me how to do that, but it's just, I don't know, type in YouTube, BonkTable, scenario guide, it should pop up. But anyway, in this scenario, you really just want to take over like one side of the table, lock down 2 of these zones because it's going to generate you 7 points. Melee is a kill point scenario, so you get 2 for a regiment, 2 for a character, 2 for a warlord. And then you want to push out and like contest your opponent's like small zone or contest this zone in either way to prevent them from double scoring so you get ahead on points. You want to focus on points like on the scenario. There is kill points, yes, but the scenario will score you more overall. Yeah, that's kind of it. Horns of the Bull. I don't know. I don't really play Horns of the Bull just because of how everything how my opponent deployed. They played a heavily declined flank. So my Horns of the Bull initial setup like here, and like having my I'll do it in green, like 2 horns, instead ended up being, I'll do it in like blue, kind of like a declined flank, like it just kind of ended up like that, to be honest. So you'll see it. Let's go to turn 1. Okay, so here's turn 1. Something I didn't realize until after I played all my cards and we rolled off and all that stuff is that Skillen, my opponent, did not have any lights. So I was like, oh, okay. Because of that, I also got all my lights on. I did not put the Volva in the Raiders. I was kind of thinking Huskarls just because it was going to be fine, and also allowed the Raiders to shoot up into the zone more freely, I felt. And I can keep the Volva back safer because I want her alive as long as possible. Raiders went to that zone because I really was uncontested, and then I just kind of, I guess I'll do it in brown, I was like, I'll just set up a kill thing here while I wait for everything else, and I should be able to like sneak shots around here and kind of like so, and that'll be effective, and that was my whole idea. They ran up. Okay, let's go into turn 2. Okay, so here's turn 2. Things that go on. I get my Volva and her Huskarls. I get my 2 troll units and the Blooded, and I get the Fenrir Beast Pack. My opponent gets all 3 of his Avatara. He autoed in, I believe, the big block in the character, and then rolled a bunch of dice. Rolled like, I don't think he only has 1 heavy, but he basically rolled a bunch of dice and got the other 2 Avatara. This led to like a card advantage in my favor. So one of the things I did very early on was to just like, play my 2 characters, and then proceed to do like safe stuff that was going to come on and be very obvious. So, Volva and Huskarls going here. I looked at the troll block for a while, like at the blooded trolls, and I was like, you know what? There's a lot, like I looked at this over here, and there's a lot of space over there. So he's probably going to dump his marksman clones over there. So I'm going to get shot at. So I'm going to put the blooded and the troll unit right here to kind of put pressure onto his zone and start a fight. I don't think he has the tempo right now because he came on so late to contest my left side here that I'm circling in orange. So I'm like, I should be fine. Plus there's a forest, so I'm just running up the Raiders into that zone. That'll be fine. That's one of my later activations. I then bring on the other unit of trolls. They just run up right behind the Bow Chosen. I didn't really know how aggressive my opponent was going to be, and I was kind of like, well, Skillen's like, there's no way I'm going to get aggressive. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's very fair, but like sometimes things happen and I get free damage. Like, I like free damage. I like to set myself up for free damage. Like, having the trolls missing out on like whatever that is, those 2 inches, I'm just like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. And then you can see like my Fenrir Beast Pack, shoot up, reform in a way to like threat project this way, get a flank charge into whatever is going to hit the trolls, setting up for the future. Bow Chosen, I'll just do it in orange, but they literally just like sneak up a little bit. My opponent's like 20 inches or 20.1 away, so I'll have to walk. Like, he walked up outside of threat range or 21.1 away. I moved up a little bit to get back into it and put that pressure back onto him. And so that's happening there. And that's really turn 2. So really just kind of like getting into the proper position, getting our things in the right order, and moving up to start getting onto the zones. I score, I think, like 2 points or something, like, or no, 3 points over here, and that's really it. Let's get on to turn, I don't know, 3. Okay, here's turn 3. Skillen will get his Centaur Avatar, Desolate Drones Biomancer, High Clone Executor, Marksman Clones, and the Terraphon. Terraphon is the shrimp. Remember that. Okay. I get, I think, the rest of my list. Steel Chosen, Goater, Steel Chosen, and the Connie? Yeah, it looks like the rest of my list. Okay, so things on this turn that click and do not click. So one of the things that didn't click right away was that I'll do it in blue, the Centaur Avatar were coming on this turn. Totally forgot about them. My bad. Maybe position a little better, maybe not. Kind of figure it out. I'm not too worried simply because Skillen will have to take 2 stands through the woods to get to me. What means he will not get Inspire. What means he will also not get impacts. So I do see, like, kind of looking at that, and that's why I'm like reinforcing this side with the Steel Chosen. Also having like my opponent dropping the Deso drones on that side previously. That's why the Steel Chosen are going there, because I'm like, okay, so the fight is like the line of engagement is going to be drawn like so. I need to put more work on that side. I need to start rotating some stuff and so on. He's currently missing his 2 Vanguard clone units, so they'll be showing up later. But on the left here, I'm basically free reign uncontested, so I'm just scoring that. Some of the first activations really are us drawing cards at each other, moving more things up the table. So, you know, Huskarl unit getting into the zone, scoring that. Well done. Steel Chosen unit the first, coming around the side here. This Steel Chosen unit, why is it over there? So, I know the Avatara, like the Highbone, or whatever the stupid lady is. The Lineage Highborn, I can read. She has the march, and then she can entourage the unit, and then like march again, and then charge, or charge and clash. Like, she can threat project very far. We're kind of playing chicken between her unit and my Bow Chosen right now. Just doing brown, like between there. So I'm thinking, okay, if the Avatara shoot really far up and hit my Bow Chosen, I want to be able to flank charge them with Steel Chosen. That will do plenty of damage. I need them there. What else is going on? The other thing that's going on is that they can flex left and clear off and contest the zone as well. Yeah, it's a lot of points, and I'm probably not going to like doing it, but if that Raider command stand lives, they can then spin around and come back and fight. So there's play, there's play and counterplay there, just protecting my bases, because I know there's 2 cards still not on the table, 2 Vanguard clones. They can cause a bunch of problems. That's why they're over there. I'm going to get rid of the green right now because we don't need to see it. Next thing that's coming on the table, easy moves. We don't really want to get too aggressive right now. Goater. I then move like my trolls onto the zone with 4 stands, so my opponent can't take that from me, and that will be, once again, 1, 2, 3 stands of scoring. Skillen early on, he just moves off his Avatar and gets that, so he's 1 zone to my 3. Sweet. I'm looking at the Avatara. I do get Inspire through the woods because of Nord's army roll. Yay. He will not, because he got 2 stands in there, so if he attacks me first, he's not going to get Inspired anyway. He's not going to get impacts. He's just going to grind into trolls, and then I'm just going to like reform the Fenner into like his flank and stab him. That was my idea right there. I forgot that the Centaur Avatar are there, so he drops the Centaur Avatar, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Like, not super happy about that. Yeah, it's not super great. Marksman clones kind of getting, we'll do it in blue. Getting into a decent position here. Set up their lines of fire. He's really wary of exposing his flank to my Bow Chosen. My Bow Chosen, like the one on the right here, just walk up and just throw some caps into those guys. The trolls, I believe earlier, ran up like 13 inches, and he put his Avatar there, and I like ran up 13, and kind of was like, I did it after he like moved these guys. Like, I think these Avatar just moved back slightly while the Terraphon came onto the table to provide support. Terraphon, we were talking about this. Terraphon, I'll just do it in purple, kind of actually wanted to be over here, help out with some rerolls for charges, as well as provide more armor debuffs and additional shots to kind of wipe out troll healing. Would have been in a better spot, and just use his bigger Avatar brick to kind of hold the line as he kind of clears and then proceeds to windshield wiper across the table. That would have been a better play. So we kind of figure out that the Terraphon is misplayed in that position. It's not central to the army, it's central to the table. I've been talking about these Centaurs. Like, I think they're in a good position to windshield across the table. Then I throw in the Steel Chosen to kind of support that after either the Fenner or the trolls die. The Steel Chosen can move up and fill that spot. Big block of Avatara are getting countered by these Goater B-Spec way down here. I'm going to eventually like march charge through my Bow Chosen, who are going to hit the Avatara. Bow Chosen are going to shoot the Avatara because they're bigger than me, and so on. Yeah, that's really it. Not a ton of shots fired or anything like that. A lot of scoring done on my end, but also a lot of positioning to collapse in on my opponent when he makes a play, or if I make a play because I'm putting pressure on him. Let's get into turn 4. All right, so turn 4. A lot of stuff happened. Am I going to zoom in a little bit more? Let's find out. That looks a little better. Okay, I win the roll-off, and this is pretty big. I'm going to just put a red box right here. That's a little hard to see. Let's put an orange box right there. We'll put an orange on top of red. Perfect. Trolls charge into the Avatara, and I kill them. Blooded with his cleave 2, and the trolls hold big attacks, kill off the Avatar. I'm actually really happy. Then I get into some character draws. I believe Skillen with this Avatara unit goes for a charge. He forgets Neuralink on the Terraphon. I'm just putting in purple right here. First time playing it, didn't even know it existed. Didn't really care. I was just like, whatever, it's just another Quaddle. To me, I just see a big bird and I'm like, yeah, another Quaddle, hate my life. But he sadly failed to charge. I think he needed a 3 and he rolled like a 2 and a 1, so that did not go very well. I draw more characters and then I activate the Vulva, who then blesses this troll unit. I'll just do it in yellow. Then they go right after her after Skillen's like moving some stuff around. Like I think like the Biomancer went, the Terror, I don't think the Terraphon went, but like the Biomancer went and did some stuff. He like gave us some buffs. The trolls then charged into the Avatar and like knocked him down to 1 stand and broke them. That's not that great for him. I have 3 stands there. I believe the Terraphon eventually activates and like shoots at the trolls, but doesn't deal like that much damage. Realizing that the Vanguard clones are kind of gonna die and that the other Avatar are dead, Skillen commits this Marksman clone unit to shoot my Tenacious unit, and then his Desodrone unit to shoot them. Gets them down to like stand into character, which is still pretty good. And then lastly, he charges in with the Centaur Avatar from the flank. This is where I made a deck play. I should have put the Fenner Beast Pack right here, just at the bottom of my stack. I instead did the Raiders. They could have been higher up because there was nothing that was going to get to them, and I could have used them as another dead draw, while the Fenner Beast Pack actually had a thing to do. Because what happened here is that the Fenner Beast Pack draw, kind of shuffle around, and then the Centaur go in and hit the trolls in the side and finish them off. Not the greatest. I think in this photo, he's got either 2 or 3 stands on. I just run in my 3 stands of Steel Chosen up the table to kind of, you know, keep contesting, keep pressure on the Centaurs, allow the Fenner to also get into the Centaurs, so there's like plenty of work that can be done. If I kill the Centaurs, I can then, I'll just do it in like orange, I can push forward into the Desodrones, and we can collapse that flank. But it really all hinges on this fight here between the Fenner Beast Pack and the Steel Chosen versus the Centaur Avatar. That's going on there. However, the middle is kind of collapsing, and that's why the Vanguard clones have been rushed to fill in that gap, because the other unit of Avatar is dying. Then, once again, my opponent activates the Lineage Highborn. Pheromantic Overdrive is marched up. Then goes for a charge. Fails the charge, forgets about Neuralink again. Once again, we didn't really know about this until after the game. This leaves the Avatar unit, as you can see, stranded. I'm going, oh, okay, cool. Bow Chosen, shoot Avatara, go to Beast Pack, march charge into Avatara. I think I kill off a stand to do a bunch of wounds. I'll take it. Steel Chosen, get in position on the left here to charge Avatara later. Skillen in response, you know, he runs up his Vanguard clones. Smart move. I have my Raiders who just kind of diddle around here, still scoring the zone. It's fine. And I forget what this other Bow Chosen does. I think they like shoot, to be honest, at the Avatar. They just roll really poorly, and Skillen saves a bunch of shots and lives, and I'm like, ah, sweet. And that's kind of the fights right there. I think like I'm scoring 3 minimum. I might be scoring 4. I couldn't tell you until we look at the score and I write it down in the editing. But I don't think I'm scoring 4. But I'm for sure scoring 3. But things are dying. I've lost 2 cards. Skillen's lost 1, but he's in a way worse position. We really got to see how the Centaur Avatara do. I can do across the board healing with the zones and the Vulva. So I'm feeling like in a pretty good spot here. But let's see how it plays up when we go into turn 5. Okay, here is turn 5. So, Skillen wins the roll off. He activates the Centaurs and they charge into my Steel Chosen, killing off 2 stands. Not very excited for that. I activate my... I believe 2 cards of Steel Chosen right at the top, so activate my first card of Steel Chosen. I'm realizing that the one on the right there is not going to be doing much. So I charge my Conning Gear and Steel Chosen block into the side of the Avatara. I think I killed 2 more Avatara. That is fine. Skillen then starts looking for shots. Deso drones and biomancer are shooting. Marksman clones shooting into these troll unit that I'm just saving a lot of shots on and keeping them alive. Vanguard clones go charge into the what is this? Raiders. He needs like a 4 or 5 or something. Gets it. Kills off 2 stands. Raiders rally, clash back. I don't really do enough damage. He's like waiting for my Goater to die with his last Avatara unit. I eventually like activate the trolls who kill off the last Avatara, and then he is not, with his Vanguard clones, able to see. So if you remember, they're like over here-ish. He was not able to see the trolls, and so he had to reform and then charge me, and he reforms and charges me in the way he currently is. So he currently has more stands on the zone, scoring it, and he'll be able to deal with my trolls later. This leads into, you know, my Steel Chosen rallying, clashing back. I do some wounds on a what is it, a Centaur Avatara. Then the Fender Beastpack just fluid formation to the flank with the Opportunist and the Inspire and all that stuff to kill off 2 stands and leave that one guy on like a couple health. So it's looking like that's going to be really good in my favor. If I can kill him and keep the Steel Chosen alive, he can just sit there on that zone and live forever, and then the Fender Beastpack can just, you know, run off, and I'll just do it in like orange. They can just run off and start eating all these guys. That's the goal there. The Terraphon, this guy just does a double march right into my Bow Chosen to keep them from firing. I'm like, oh, that's cool, I guess. Bow Chosen, I think these Bow Chosen actually go for the Avatara, simply because the Terraphon are already gone, and I just kind of want to get rid of the Avatara because that's going to break over in the middle more. I don't do enough damage, and the Avatara is still alive. Like, my Goater Beastpack activated, took some Aura of Death, fought back, they got stabbed by some Avatara. He's down to like 2 wounds or something. That poor Goater is going to die, but, you know, next turn he's coming back to sit on this. I realize that I've also set myself up in a position to charge with the Huskarls. This was pre-planned on how I was doing everything. So I charge him with the Huskarls, do enough damage. He's got like 1 Avatara left at this point, and I killed him off, and it was like, cool. I also have my last stand like just towing on the edge of that zone, so I'm going to score it. Skillen's going to score this big one over here. He's going to score this one over here. Oh, I've already greened it. Cool. Back that up. And I'm going to score this one over here with the Fenner. Lastly, these Bow Chosen punch the Terraphon, do a couple damage, but like nothing too crazy. However, the other Bow Chosen unit can like shoot opportunist shots into its flank now, what's going to be really good for me, and hopefully kill it with that. And that's turn 5, and at this point, Skillen calls it. So I'm going to clear off a lot of these arrows and such. We talked about this game where remembering his Neuralink ability on the Terraphon would allow him to get more charges in. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I had Bow Chosen set up though to like counter shoot your stuff and like, you know, protect myself like with Dread. I think I forgot about Oblivious on the trolls, to be honest, but they were mostly getting shot at. With Dread and how Train works out, I was probably still going to be in a good spot. Might have been a closer game, but yeah, missing those charges did not help. But I was set up to counter and like push out. Also the other point here, like turn 6, we kind of just like walked through it. Terraphon probably dies to both of the Bow Chosen. This Goater comes back into the zone. Steel Chosen reform and start marching into this zone. Raiders die. Vanguard's set up in a position to hopefully keep me away or whatever. Goater goes back to the zone. Volva and Huskarl start making their way this way, and I start casting spells out of them, doing whatever. Trolls die. Vanguard clones might move out, sort of thing, but because he's going to be wasting a bunch of shots here. Centaur Avatara dies. Hopefully the Steel Chosen alive, or yeah, and he can live, and then, you know, the dogs go over there. So like, the game still gets played, but it's already, the writing's on the walls. I'm up on activation. I'm up on points. Skillen's losing a lot. He's lost a lot of his front line, and he's going to lose more of it as this game goes on. And shooting units don't win games. They just enable a lot of stuff. So it's not looking really good, and that's kind of why we call it. I just did this all in black, whatever. Better plays on my end, because I knew the Fenrir fight with the Centaur were going to happen like the previous turn. I should have just put them like at the bottom of my stack. I was hoping to kind of like, I don't know, have my cake and eat it too, but there's no reason why the Raiders had to be last kind of thing. Skillen forgot that I ignore hindering terrain with my units, so his Avatara here probably could have been in a, he could have positioned those better to absorb the hit, or be out of the zone and just let me take it, and then follow up after. Failing the charges didn't help, and I do agree. I think his overall game plan was pretty good, though. Centaurs did a bunch of work, but with the Avatara dying off after one attack, the Centaur did not have the support they needed to keep pushing forward and kind of got bogged down, as you can see, and died. So let's get into the end score. Okay, so here's the score. 42 for me, 13 for Skillen. We did call this game on turn 5, so as you can see, it is done. It does look like I did have 4 zones. So is it 3, 6, 8, 2, 10? 6 plus 4, no, 10, 12. Yeah, so turn 4 I did have all 4 zones. Okay, cool. I've kind of already gone over the tactical play of the game.